This is the AI for Business workshop. I wanted to keep this one super simple. I know over the last few weeks, we've done a lot of deep dives on things like social media, using Google for lead generation and all those types of tips and tricks. But this is all about the AI, ChatGPT, and a few other apps that I utilize to just take the ease of use and streamline our businesses. I wanted to kind of start off with any questions that you guys have just in general. Like, what are some of the questions that you guys even have about AI or any of the apps or anything like that? Or have you guys even touched that space or utilized it at all for the business? Not as much?
Is AI and ChatGPT, is that the same thing?
Yeah, ChatGPT is AI. Have you utilized it at all or tried to get in there? And so what are some of the things that you've used it for?
ChatGPT?
Yeah.
Meal prep. Are we talking about business-wise?
Anything, yeah.
Meal prep, workout schedule, business plan, formulation of online communities, just information like that.
Okay. And so it's been just helping you in every facet of life right now, more than just even the business. That's good. For me, it's like I'm so deep in the trenches of the AI stuff that I get a lot of it sent straight to my doorstep, whether it's through social media or just somebody sending me some new app to try. So I feel like I owe it to my customers and all the people that I work with in order to be on top of that stuff and to be able to, make recommendations toward the best apps in the game right now. And especially when they're all racing to get the better and better functionality, I want us to be on the cutting edge of what's the best, right? So that way we can just go for gold the first time. And then this is a QR we're going to have in the front and back. This is just if you guys want to get in contact with me or want me to help you implement some of the AI strategies into the business. That's what we do here at Raw Marketing Group. So some of the features that I feel like are, pretty compelling for ChatGPT for a lot of people that maybe use it on a day-to-day just conversationally, but that they're not really using it to its fullest potential. For one, just brainstorming ideas and bouncing ideas off of it, I think is a pretty good use of it, right? Like it allows you to build up on the creativity that you already have. I've been in a lot of situations of just having, writer's block, mental block, and being able to kind of articulate it through something that has a large variety of knowledge and information. I think that is bar none, for me, the number one reason why I even use it, right? I don't really use it for just like the pure product itself, but I do want to have that conversation so that I'm at least on the right train of thought for a lot of that stuff. So using it on your phone, you can have a conversation back and forth on it now. So you can press one button and it actually has a voice that talks back to you. So you can just have the conversation on there. But then it also has to where you can just natively talk into your phone. It'll type out everything that you're saying. So you can make sure that you're articulating it right and then submit it in the conversation. But now we can upload images. So it can actually look at the image and tell you about it, break down the components of it, and give you recommendations about certain images, which is amazing. I was waiting for that one for a long time. The PDFs. So being able to upload different documents and PDFs and use that as source information, that's amazing because you can use Google to find a lot of the documents that you need already. So being able to, for example, have contracts, people just have their contracts out there, right? Licensing contract for X business, file type PDF. If you type that into Google, it's going to give you just literally a direct link to a PDF that you can download, usually of that document. Then you can type it into ChatGPT and it can spit you out one that's relevant for you and your business after you give it some of the prompts that I'm going to give you here in a little bit to tell it about your business. Audio files, being able to record calls and then it go through the call and find the different points of it, finding the sentiment of the conversation, letting you know about how much you talked versus somebody else. Those things matter to me. I've always been told if you're in a sales scenario and you're doing most of the talking, you're probably losing that sale, right? So you want to be able to draw that information out from the people. And you can kind of just use ChatGPT to analyze that yourself. Conversation features on the phone, which I went over, the GPT functions and exploring different GPTs, and I'll explain what that is. And I have a little slide for that. The search feature on the phone, which is why I prefer to use my phone, is just because I can go and search the conversations a little bit easier, and they don't really have that on the desktop. It's like weird to me. Don't know why they don't have it on the desktop. And then now with GPT 4.0, memory in the conversations. So it can remember things that you've talked about before, things that you've referenced. And so if you start a new thread, you can still typically refer to an old conversation, and it'll still be able to pull that data and use it for the conversation, which I think is way better now, because we were just limited to, each individual thread. You're like, damn, when did I talk about that festival 2 years ago? Let me scroll down and try to see where I can find festival at, right? But now you can just refer to it again, and it'll tell you. I typically just ask it, tell me about this thing, so that it gives me as much information as it has, so I can see, is it really remembering that conversation, or is it maybe talking about something else, just to do quality checks there.
Is that the same as the one that they have, the Copilot?
Yeah.
They have the Gemini and Copilot.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff is like interchangeable between a lot of the different ones, right? So Google is Gemini. Copilot is still connected, through Microsoft to ChatGPT overall, but it's more, around Microsoft products and integrated in all their products, and a part of the Microsoft Edge browser as well. So you can have, ChatGPT on the side while you're just surfing the internet, which I think is pretty cool as well. But then there's other ones too, like Claude and all these. I've never used Claude, so I can't really speak to it that much. But I use ChatGPT or Gemini. So the ideas of crafting a prompt. So a prompt is just what you are saying to ChatGPT. So when you're typing, whatever you type, that's the prompt, and that's what it's going off of when it's having a conversation. So when you're just having a conversation, you want to go via these 4 parameters at least. If you're not a professional prompt engineer, as they call you, right, then you at least want to have these contexts. Defining your objective. So start by clearly articulating the purpose of the content that you're trying to generate. Provide context to it, or define your objective, right, and then provide context. Be specific. Use detailed descriptive prompts that outline key points, tone, formatting. Think of as many different pieces that you can give to it. And then lastly, refine and reiterate. So that's just, if you don't get exactly what you're looking for, try it again, right? Or try to add more context, or try to add more information. You can usually see with what it gave you, okay, this is missing X, Y, and Z. So redo this, but add this into it. Or this is too short, expand this 2 times and make it about twice as long, or make it more concise, right? So you always want to just refine what you put into it. And when you find something that works, try to mark it down somewhere, right? You don't want to always have to go back into the conversation to see what you said in order to get this perfect response back to something that you made. So just take it and put it in a Word document, so you could do that kind of exercise over and over, especially if it's a process you got to do over and over. And so before we go into kind of the prompts themselves, these are kind of the things to know about your business before you start talking to ChatGPT about your business, because a lot of us don't always have each one of these things dialed in. So your audience, just want to clearly identify them, know your customer avatar, like where do they hang out online, and then where do they hang out in real life, right? And then I always think of these different pain points, right? Or the different pieces of a demographic that we can isolate somebody with, which is just the age, the gender, the profession, the pain point, and their passion. If you're doing at least 3 of those, then you have a pretty good customer avatar, and you can speak towards somebody's problems, right? So let's say 20 to 25-year-old guy who works in this, or a 40-year-old woman who has back problems, right? Or something like that. It's a pretty clear avatar, even without the age and gender. If you were just doing profession, pain point, and a passion point, then you can typically isolate somebody with the content in order to talk to them directly. The pain points, just identifying their experiences. What are the emotions that they actually feel in those experiences? And then go a step further into the things that the pain points affect as well, right? Because sometimes the thing that is presenting isn't necessarily the problem, right? And there's another step that was a little bit further, that if you can solve that thing, then you're going to be able to scale the business a lot more. and then master your offer. So the simplest formula I've seen is Alex Hormozy. He does the like offer equation, right? Which is the dream outcome of your customer and the perceived likelihood of achievement divided by the time delay and the effort and sacrifice. So you just want the top to be bigger and you want the bottom to be smaller, right? So the dream outcome, if it whatever that dream outcome is, if it's to make the most amount of money with our product, or if it's to lose your weight, or whatever that product is giving you, the dream outcome, the perceived likelihood of achievement, if I could say for sure that it's gonna happen 100% and it happens every time, that's better than, yeah, let's take a chance and let's take a shot in the dark on it, right? So if you can guarantee that, that's a beautiful thing. The time delay, if it can be right now, that's also the best, right? So for example, I beat a lot of people with websites just because I'm able to do them typically in like a week to 2 week span, sometimes even faster. And most people, when they were doing websites, it was like a month. So just on that alone, I was able to beat out competition just because you're able to deliver the result and everything that you're, saying that you can offer right now. And then the effort and sacrifice. So if they don't have to put any effort at all, and they don't have to sacrifice anything at all, that's the best. Especially in like weight loss and things like that, there's usually a lot of effort or sacrifice that has to be made, right? You have to stop eating certain things. You have to implement new things into your plan. And then, you have things like Ozempic that's here now. And it's like, oh, you get a shot and then you like lose a bunch of weight. And that's great. But now we're going to charge thousands of dollars for it because it is one of those things that is effortless, right? And that you don't have to really sacrifice much for. So if you can master kind of these three components, I think you're going to be able to talk to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever just more directly. And so really isolate those pieces. And please, I do the free strategy calls. So if y'all need help with those kinds of things, just come to me. We'll draft it all out with you. So that way you feel like it is your brand, because it is your brand. And then, you'll be able to have it on paper so you can refer back to it. On top of this, mission, vision, values, but I don't want to go too deep into that. Make sure you have that. So this is a prompt. If you guys want to grab this picture here, this is like a quick start off your content journey with ChatGPT prompt. So in a minute, I'm going to ask you to write some copy for my business. This will include blog content, Instagram posts, and sales emails. And I would say, and more probably there. Before we begin, I want you to fully understand my business and customers. Ask me at least 20 questions about my business, customers, audience, and anything else you need in order to complete the task to the best of your ability. So what I do is I conversate with ChatGPT about my business. I just literally talk for like a minute, give it as much information and context as possible. Then you can slap this one at the end, and then it's going to give you 20 questions and just answer those questions to the best of your ability. Now you have an ironclad AI model for your business. Really, really clean. Is going to give you the best information based around your business and the way that you would talk, the way that you would interact with things. Try it. Definitely do it. And once you get past the questions, everything else that you do right here is going to be super powerful for your business, right? So we have even more of those types of prompts. This one was a big one, so I just put it on a separate slide. The AI business plan. I know you talk to a lot of people who are business plan experts. Maybe they're charging, thousands of dollars for that. And they're like, yeah, you can use ChatGPT. Maybe it'll get you like 20% of the way there, dude, or something like that, right? But this will actually get you there. It will get you a full business plan. So using ChatGPT, you've already talked to it and trained it and gave it all the information. Then you want to get Live Plan. Live Plan is literally $20 a month, but after the first month, you don't need it because you will have your business plan. And it gives you the outline of every element that you need for a business plan. So you will talk to ChatGPT about each segment, and it'll write those segments out, and you copy and paste it in the Live Plan, and then it will give you the business plan, right? Organized, all the pages, right? I had a 20-page business plan from Live Plan by doing this. It'd take you a little bit of time. It'll take you maybe 2 to 4 hours, but this is like $1,000 business plan. And it can give you financial projections based on the industry, things that you just would not really think about asking possibly when you build your business plan yourself. It will give you so that you can ask ChatGPT and know kind of the direction of what you need, right? So, and then Live Plan, if you get this QR code, Live Plan has like 17 different prompts themselves that they are like, will help you to refine your business ideas. and your business plan ultimately as well. So if you use their prompts, it's going to give you the best possible business plan. So this is like $1,000 slide. Hopefully, if you get nothing else, then you will get value from this $1,000 AI business plan. So content creation prompts. This one is very, very good to just start generating the content, but there are tons of other smaller prompts that you can use. I think people ideate themselves around doing 10, 20 pieces of content, right? They talk to ChatGPT, give me 20 ideas for a piece of content and that's great to get a macro view. But on a day-to-day, we really need to just hunker down one piece of content that's really, really good, that talks to our audience, and that is explosive. Get a hook in front of that thing, get a contact, or a call to action at the end or in the back of it, right? So this prompt here, generate a weekly story calendar in table format, featuring 2 daily story ideas for every 7 days. One story should focus on creating personal connections with my followers. The other being more sales-focused story, subtly promoting the business service that I am, that you are. Right? You're putting your business, your industry there. My target audience is, we've talked about it before, this X amount age, right? Or you can put an age range there. Lives in this location, has this occupation, and wants to achieve the dream result, right? And make sure you're on that. Sometimes the dream result is like the result that we see from the product. Maybe this is why you made the product in the first place, but there's probably and possibly a broader application that is a better dream result for somebody. So talk to your customers and ask them, what are some of the things that you like about working with us, or from the experience with our service or with our product, because they'll tell you some crazy stuff. I mean, I just like that y'all answer the phone. That's honestly the only reason I went with you guys, right? And if that's the only reason that most people are going with you is because you're boutique style and you're able to be accessible, then that's what you should lead with, right? That's the dream result, being able to have somebody in this field that is accessible to you, right? It's like primary care. That's one that's like a good example for that, right? People do healthcare, they do primary care. That's why. Because I could call you up and tell you my knee's swollen up and I ain't do anything. Please, what should I do? Should I come in or should I put something on it,
What if you're just starting off and you're not too sure about the dream result yet?
Yeah, I would take a stab at it. And then that's where you just have that conversation with ChatGPT, right? What are some of the common pain points for people that use this service? Are just the questions that I ask it. And then I'll look at maybe 10, I'll ask for 10, and then I kind of scrap from there, right? Some of them, it's like, even if that is a pain point, you might not want to brand your brand around this pain point or just fixing this one thing. So I would see what fits your brand the best, and then just really isolate that one thing. Honestly, the deeper that you go into the niche, the better, right? So you don't have to be so broad that you just can take care of all of their problems. But if you can take care of one direct problem, then you could probably scale that one up a lot faster, a lot easier. These are some other small content generation prompts on like a one-off, right? I just love to use these ones to keep the stuff fresh. So I need to create content around this specific topic. Can you give me some suggestions? The suggestions will give you ideas typically of things to shoot or how to shoot them, right? So if you have 20 different suggestions on what kind of content to shoot, you can ask it to give you what's called a shot list. And it'll give you like, yeah, sit on your couch and shoot this, sit in the dining room and shoot this, right? Things like that. And then you can use one of these GPTs, which I'll show you in a second, for your script. So video writing script, and you can tell it to give me a script that will give me about 30 seconds of talking. And it's not going to be perfect. Obviously, some people talk faster, slower, but it'll be around 30 seconds in length, and it'll give you the bullet points for that. And that's a great way to do it. I want to create this type of content that will stand out. Can you help me with that? How can I create this type of content that will remain relevant and interesting for a long time, right? Or in perpetuity or forever, right? And just get the opinion of what it's saying in that aspect for your business. I want to make my Instagram reels more interesting. Can you give me some ideas on how to do that? And then this longer one here, which is I want to create a video, a blog post, an infographic that showcases the benefit of this product, or your service. Can you help me come up with a list of ideas on how to present this information in an interesting and engaging way, right? These are just really easy. And I'm telling you, after you've talked to it and done the work to train it for your business, the answers that it's going to give you just are going to seem divine, right? It's going to be like, okay, wow, this is actually really, really, really solid and really good. You're going to stop getting the broad answers that you get when you first have tried to use it. Any questions so far on the prompts? Okay. These are specifically for captions. Use this on Instagram, use it on TikTok, use it on Facebook. Writing the posts and the words that you use for the posts, this is where you're going to get your best results. Create a caption for my latest Instagram post about this service or product that will entice users to check it out and consider making a purchase. Write a caption for an Instagram post featuring a picture of this product that highlights the unique features and attributes, characteristics, traits, right, depending on what your service or feature is. Generate a list of hashtags that I could use for my Instagram posts about this topic or your industry. And we went over before about hashtags. Typically now, Instagram is only really registering 5 hashtags. So I would say do 2 high volume, right? Something broad. If you are a finance person, you can put finance. You can put, money management, something like that, and then do something that's a little more narrow, maybe only 100,000 reels in that category or less. And then just do one that brands yourself at the end of that, right? Always brand yourself at least once, so that way it's indexing all your content under that hashtag, right? So you can use your name or your business name, or a hashtag that you make that you're branding, maybe a slogan as well. Write a creative Instagram caption for a post featuring Vegas or wherever you're at, wherever your business is based. Compose an Instagram post that showcases the benefits of our product in a compelling way, right? And all of these, any of these prompts, you could say, give me 10. Give me 5, give me 20 ideas, right? Give me 100 ideas, right? On 100, it's probably going to get to like 40, and then you'll have to click continue or just tell it continue, and it'll keep going out into 100, but you can ultimately keep going until it just runs out of ideas, or it's just getting kind of repetitive now because it's used all of the answers with the context that it has. Now, if you can change the context or add more information, it could probably start to give you more ideas, better ideas, more unique ideas. Some other prompts that I really love. One is for ads. So Instagram ads, Facebook, Instagram ads for your business, and then for blogs and blog creation. Create several social media ads or ad concepts for my business, promoting the product. My target audience is, and write it out. Don't just say one person, right? Give them the full avatar that you've created, even if it's a freaking paragraph, even if it's 10 paragraphs. Give it as much of the information as possible. The ads should run on this platform and emphasize the benefits or the selling point. Ideally, the ads should be attention grabbing and include a strong call to action. And yes, you can add other pieces of information to this. The visual focus, you can add information on the targeting, add information on the budget, the copywriting style. These are different things that you can just add into this one. And next is for the blogs. Write a blog post about this topic targeted towards the ideal reader. This post should be informative, engaging, and aiming to describe this goal. Educate, entertain, and build thought leadership, right? And so putting you as an expert in the field, that's what that is, like a thought leader or an expert in the field. That's what that's referring to. Maintain a whatever format you want it in, a tone that you want it to have. If you wanted to have a fun tone, a bubbly tone, educational, professional, authoritative, right, tone, then you can put that there throughout. And then different things that you can use to augment this one here for the blogs are the keywords or the word count, right? Maybe you just want an article that's 1,000 words because you want it for Google Business Profile, and Google Business Profile can only take like 1,500 characters or something like that. You can put the structures and you can put different sources, right? So if you wanted to pull from specific areas in order to reference those areas later, then just tell it that so that it can use a specific style of the information as well. Any questions on this one? This one is like more high level, so I expect you guys to just take the picture of that one and then maybe try it out later, right? Especially if you're doing ads, use it. So on ChatGPT, On the, what is it? The left-hand side, usually the fourth or the second to the fourth to the top little tab, you'll have Explore GPTs. When you click into that, go through there and just explore all the different options that they have, right? These are preset business models, if you will, or conversation models already for you. So it already has a framework. Somebody already has done the work of creating the prompt in order to set it up for you. So you can add the information that you have on top of this, and it's going to give you the information. My favorite is the video script writer, right? And it's the same as like any other platform, right? You go to Amazon, you look at the reviews. So just look for the ones that have the most users, the most reviews, and use those ones. But the video script writer, I use it all the time, right? It just gives you very nice script. You can give it a lot of information. You can talk to it about the style of your stuff. You can upload your transcripts from other videos using some apps I'll give you here. You can give it videos of yourself, and it can use that information in order to write you scripts that sound like you, right? And just use that for your social media content, especially if you're shooting yourself. I always say the winging it stuff is dead. It's done. You winging it just behind the camera, that really isn't going to resonate because it's a formula to the content and it's a formula to consuming the content when you're on social media. So if you can understand that and you can just replicate it every time, then you're going to do yourself better than just posting to post. It is good to post to be consistent with it, but you should be posting to build consistency of good habits, right? And using it to have enough numbers on the board that you can see what's working and what doesn't, and analyzing it every time throughout. So if you use these, you'll be a lot closer to what you're trying to get to. So these are my apps, right? The AI apps for the win. Each of these are like a powerhouse in their respective field. So Predis.ai, it has templates for social media posts. You can schedule your posts from there. You can put your brand kit in, and it'll make posts for your business. It also has trending posts in there. It has memes that you can just fill in with your business information or something that's relevant to the business to just make posts. So it's a really easy way to get something up if you have nothing at all, right? And especially if you have a lot of products, you can take these products and just drop them into thousands on top of thousands of templates, and it's using AI in order to find things that are relevant for your business so that you can just drop your business into it. So that one is extremely powerful. I used it a lot for my travel agency, and it was really, really good, really good. We have somebody now who does it themselves by hand, but I really love Predis.ai. vidon.ai, but this is video content, right? So this is if you want to make a lot of videos for your business. This will find you different pieces of trending videos. It can make you ones based off of stock footage as well. And you can create a lot of ideas and have actual videos, so you can create reels, because we know that reels gives you the most amount of traffic for your profile, for your business. Next is Copy.ai. This is the best ideation tool for me. So coming up with ideas, having different workflows, writing in general. So if you're doing blogs, if you're doing articles, it also has the ability to create workflows. So you can take different, the same thing as like a GPT, like I mentioned before, but different functions that you can stack them and make it just go through all of them, right? So instead of having the limitations that you would have on ChatGPT with the amount of characters that it can give you, you can say, yeah, give me a table of 500 content ideas, and it runs a mini prompt inside each cell for you. So it can actually give you big spreads. And it has so many different tools on there that I just think it's really the best tool, right? You can even take links from YouTube and you can punch it into there, and it'll give you transcripts from there. And it can also give you ideas based off of other people's videos as well using Copy.ai. So it's a pretty comprehensive one there. ElevenLabs, voiceovers for your videos. This is one of my favorites. Voiceovers are very, very, very strong now. You don't have to be the person that's talking on the phone all the time, especially if you don't have a microphone to do it. You can just do a voiceover. You can type the script, and then you can put the captions of the voice. I do it a lot for businesses, and you can get really high-end sounding voices that make it look like a Revlon commercial, or you know what I mean, or something like that. So really, really nice commercial voiceovers. Typeset, you will use that for ebooks, lead magnets, Anything graphic related, it's not the graphic powerhouse, but things that are for the business, right? If I'm trying to make an ebook, I'll probably just use Typeset because it uses AI to fill it out, and then you can turn it into a quick PDF. And now you have something that you can sell or something that you can give away for free to get information from your clients, email, phone number, anything else that you could think of as well. Canva, you guys know Canva, but do you know Canva, right? So we probably use it on a certain level, but they have so many new features. They just released a new feature called highlights. So you can take long form video, and the same as like Opus Clip or any of these other apps, it'll show you pieces of the video that are relevant, turn it into short form pieces of content for you inside of Canva. We have things like the photo editor, right? So you can have a picture, and now you can use Magic Grab and grab elements out of the picture and move them around a photo that's already been taken, which is incredible. You can make things in the picture vanish out of the picture. So if you have a bunch of people behind you, you can make them vanish, and it just removes them with AI. And then they have other features in there like Magic Media, which is just similar to DALL-E or Image Creator, any of these other like Midjourney. You can create elements inside of Canva, and you can save them. You can cut the background out of them, and now they're just elements that you can use for flyers, graphics, social media posts as well. Then they have the Magic Doc feature, so you can write documents that you can export as a Word doc, but it also has templates that you can use for those Word docs, and then you can click each line and it fills it in with a little small ChatGPT line. So you're just writing everything with ChatGPT into an actual Word document right now. So there's a lot more functions through the Canva Create that they just released. It's next level now. So I would definitely, if you don't know much about it or you've only used it to create like maybe a couple of flyers or graphics, check out some of the new features in the new AI suite. It's really going to take the creativity to another level. Next is Descript, video creation and scripting. And Descript, it has that same functionality. You can take a video transcript from a YouTube video and break it all down, and it can make recommendations or make a new script based on that for you, or a shorter script for you. It also has, I believe, AI characters. It has a ton of other features in there. But if you're trying to create better and better scripts, so that way you're not just winging it in front of the camera, then use Descript to get those scripts like pristine, chef's kiss. All right. XMMind.ai. This is for all of our visual learners. It's for mind mapping and brainstorming. So you talk to it the same as you would ChatGPT, and it mind maps everything. So it puts the idea here, and then it gives you branches, and then it'll write all of their concepts in branch forms so that you can see it and you can see the broader macro version of it. And then you can go into each of those legs, and you can add more, and you can make it expand more, or you can make more branches off of that branch. So if you have multiple concepts, ideas, and you're just mind mapping brains, I'm a big brainstorming person, and I can learn a lot of different ways. But mind mapping, I think, is very unique. And for a lot of people, it is probably the preferred way. Once you do it one time, you might feel like this is how you want to use ChatGPT every time now. Yeah, I really love that. Notion is very nice. So you go to notion.so, and that is an AI workspace. It's kind of like having a notebook, right? Just on your computer, but you can set it to do anything. I can't even get into all of the different features that people use Notion for. I know people that do project management from there. They do all their calendars from there. They do like invoices and link it all together through Notion. They do their content calendars on Notion. So if it's something that you want to use, I find that people who are more organizational or in the arts and crafts and things like that, they really prefer Notion in the way that it's organized, and it's very easy to understand for them. And then in Notion, it has its own native AI. So you can use it inside to create different things or to type for you as well. So it's like a journal on steroids and a workplace on steroids, right? HeyGen for AI talking avatars. If you're trying to make a VSL, like a video sales letter, which is a video for you on your website, right? Talking about the product to get somebody sold on it. If you're making courses or just for social media, HeyGen is one of the best avatar creators. So it makes those fake people that you just type the text and it puts the voiceover for them and they're talking for you. You can drop them on top of videos that you already have, or you can have HeyGen create a whole background for them and just talk about the product or service, right? So for courses, for people who don't like being in front of the camera, you can use her or him or whoever to talk about the product for you and get people through the course, because the information is worth more than our inability to get in front of the camera, right? And then Fireflies.ai. This could be replaced with Otters.ai, or Fathom is another one. But Zoom call analysis, maybe the most important thing that you can do for your business if you are doing Zoom calls a lot, which I always recommend, because if you're not going to be meeting in person, it's better than a phone call. You're actually looking at the person and you can see their facial reaction, right? So when you say certain things, and you can interact with them based on that. But getting Fireflies, it will break down everything. It gives you a transcript. You can listen to the call back. It also breaks down everything as far as dates, to-dos, tasks, and you can click into them. It'll give you a list of what the to-dos are. It'll give you the focus of the conversation. It'll give you the percentage that you were talking versus somebody else in the conversation. And then you can also pull the transcript of the conversation. So something that I do that's pretty nifty, if say so myself, I'll pull that transcript and I'll put it into ChatGPT and tell it to give me a follow-up email based off of this conversation with a to-do list, so that way we're on the same page, right? So to me, it one summarizes it so that I know where the direct conversation was, because sometimes you maybe were having a rapport piece in there that was lasting too long, right? 10 minutes of conversation that was going too long, and now you've lost sight of the conversation. It'll get you on track. It'll show that you were more attentive on the conversation, and now you actually can remember the to-dos that you had from it versus just the last thing that you guys talked about, because that's usually how most calls are. All right, well, what was the last thing that we need to do now? All right, so you do this and I do that. All right, and we'll get back and then we'll touch base again, versus being able to have a proper list from that. So any questions on any of these?
So the one, the Fireflies is within the Zoom.
Yeah, so
I had the Zoom, but it got a new features,
mhm.
and I'm just like, I just move it over because I don't want to learn the new one because I'm rushing to do my meeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so how I've set up Fireflies, I set up my Zoom, it's linked to my Google already. So then when you log into Google with Fireflies, any call that you do for, because I use Google Meet in that aspect, but when you link it directly to your Zoom, then any meeting that you set is going to send an AI note taker into the call. So it's like you, the person, and then this AI note taker, which is just a blank screen. The camera's obviously off, there's nobody there, but it's capturing the whole conversation that way that you can refer back to it, right?
If you share screen, can they see that? That you have another.
Yeah, it just looks like a person that's there. Damn, this person's fancy. More than
It listens and it just takes the notes of each party.
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, and it'll show you, you know, when you look at the transcript, it'll say speaker 1, speaker 2. If there's a third, fourth speaker, it'll try to keep track of all those. I haven't really done too much with, like, man, 25 people talking or anything like that. Usually I'm just trying, if I'm having 25 people, I'm probably just going to record it as a video in Zoom anyway, so that way I can utilize that for something. But if I'm just having a conversation, I want to be able to follow up, this is the way to go.
So if you do have, let's say, 25 people in there, will it also pick up the questions
Yeah.
for you?
Yeah, that's another category. So like along with the dates and all that to-dos, questions, right? I love that one. Just click and it lines up all the questions that were in the call. You can even click the question itself and it'll play the clip of the person asking the question. So you can even see the tone that they said it with, because sometimes that's important. You're like, is that a real question or is that a rhetorical, right? Okay, no, they seem really serious there. It'll take you to that part in the conversation, and you can listen, and you can continue to listen from there if you need to as well. And you can search in the conversation as well. So that's important for me. If I'm like, damn, what did they say when they were talking about this? I can type it in, go to that part of the conversation and listen to it back to go, okay, yeah, no, they were really serious about that. And it's actually saved me a lot of times, right? I could tell, damn, that last sales call didn't do good because I was talking too much. Or it literally told me one time, this person was focused on this, that, and the third. And I was so set on one service that I wanted to push because we had just launched it and I know that it'll crush it for them, that I was almost ignoring that they just told me that they really want to do this. Right. And so you have to be receptive to what people want, not just pushing what you know will win for them. And honestly, if they get any other services, it should win for them, right? So let's just go with what they feel comfortable with to get them in a vehicle that they can move with. So just seeing that on paper, I was just like, no, we just finished talking about this. Like we were just talking about doing this. I was just gonna send them an invoice for this. And I went back and I listened to the conversation. And I was like, no, yeah, like the AI was definitely right at this point, right? It was actually about this, and they were having a whole nother conversation that I almost wasn't having. I really just it made me get better at the call because I felt like, man, I'm not as receptive as I thought I was. I thought that I was just two-way highwaying it, but really I was just trucking them with the information that I felt was relevant, pigeonholing it. Any other questions on any of these apps?
Are they all paid?
A lot of these, most AI apps, they have like a free version, or they're like free for 100 credits or free for 5 minutes. I think most of them are like that. Copy.ai just went fully paid. ElevenLabs, it allows you to do, I believe, 10 minutes of voiceovers, which is like 10 reels, because most of the reels aren't going to be more than a minute. And then I think it might even go for another month, like reset after a month. Typeset, I think you have a free trial in there. Descript, I can't remember what they do. XMMind, they also have a trial in there, free usage in there. Notion you can utilize for free, but then I would suggest getting the paid because it has better like functionality, especially if you're trying to use the AI functions inside of Notion. Otherwise, it's just a notebook app, right? Without the AI, it's just another app that's very good for organization and things like that for the business. HeyGen, Fireflies, I believe you can do less than an hour of recording, but you can record a few calls and get that full experience, after which it's like $18 or something like that a month, and it gives you like 6,000 to 8,000 minutes of just recording. So I get all the information I need, and then I just clear out a bunch of calls that I don't need that were just in between.
You have like a top 3 for like a beginner to start your business, or do you think that it depends on what you're trying to achieve?
It depends on what you're trying to achieve, but if you are like to go with any of these out of these 3, and you can only pick 3, and you're a beginning business owner or just starting a new thing, I would say Predis.ai. That way you can start getting your social media content up without like breaking your brain over the idea of creating content. Canva for all your graphics, your flyers, your coupons, all that kind of stuff, and really get very well acquainted with the AI suite in there. And then I would say probably, Fireflies. If you're a product-based business, e-commerce business, anything like that, I wouldn't worry too much about Fireflies. But if you're doing a service-based business where you're monetizing your time, you're helping somebody do something like physical even, definitely want to do Fireflies, because I think it just will help you get better call for call. You know what I mean? Like after 10 calls, you're probably going to be an expert in how to present this whole conversation, the questions that people typically ask. It's like watching the game tapes over, right? And I think that's pretty invaluable. So those would be my 3, probably Predis, Canva, and Fireflies as like a winning combo. Mm-hmm. And those ones aren't too expensive either. So Predis and Fireflies together, I think, is like under $40 a month. And then Canva you can get for free, but I pay for it, but it's not too expensive. I want to say it's 12, 10, $14.99, something like that. Yeah, I was like, it's in there. It's less than $100 at least. So those would be mine that I really, really go for. And then our app, the Raw Brands app, is built on the HeyLevel platform. If you want to connect with me, go to breezefromraw.com and I will give you a full tour and demo of that. But it's just on the platform HeyLevel. I talk about it all the time, but it's the best. It's truly the best CRM, right? The best conversational AI to go back into your CRM, the best with the automation, is the simplest way to implement a lot of automation in your business and to have everything in one platform, this is the platform, right? And I can't rave enough about it. I sound like a fanatic, but I've used everything, and we still do continue to use everything. So like HubSpot, anything that people are using out there, Zoho, all that, we're versed in it, but I would definitely make the switch over to something like this as well. You guys have any questions? So at this point, I just want to get any questions that you guys have about ChatGPT and AI and things like that.
I do.
Mhm.
I'm kind of established with books and some videos and some Facebook groups. I'm trying to think how I can bring it all together under one umbrella to where I can serve better.
So are the Facebook groups connected at all? Like, do they have anything to do with?
Nothing's connected. Everything has been old school, sporadic out there.
Right.
And I wish I had this, but
Is it around any of the same topics or subject matter?
but I do want to not only keep that content as my base, but I want to go into more of mental health and family health and like
In that space?
natural.
I mean, I personally would just dive deep into it. So like when it comes to the rebrand, or not even like a full rebrand, but really just the tonality shift of what we're talking about online, just go straight into the next thing that's relevant to you, because nobody cares. People forget things in 24 hours, I promise you. So anything that they might have even had a preconceived notion about seeing you, after 10 posts talking about this one thing or mental health or anything, they're going to start to associate you with that. So just start posting about that content, right? Like using the app from before, the Predis.ai. If you're just using those keywords, right? Mental health, NAMI, mindfulness, stress, anxiety, those types of things, and grab all those keywords, it's going to be giving you a ton of content that you can utilize and curate for yourself in order to just be able to post more consistently to those Facebook groups. And you can also schedule some of that stuff as well if you own the Facebook group. Now, if not, what I do is I'll just post whatever I'm thinking about, and then you can share it into those groups. So whenever you post it, go to the share button and then scroll like over, and then you'll see where you can reshare it to those different groups. It's kind of easier than just going in and posting it. But some groups, they also don't allow you to reshare into the group. So yeah, they do that. The ones that are like that, I kind of label them on a little list on my phone, so I can go back and just post it directly into the group. That's it. But I'm usually trying to aim to do 20 of those, right? So if you're posting once a day, go into the Facebook group and post to 20 different groups, right? So just do that every day. Talking about mental health, talking about what your journey is, what your passion is, showing people behind the scenes. And then you can do something about like the business or sales or whatever you need to do, to grow the business.
Do you believe that, because I keep hearing both, but do you believe that people don't care about your story? Because that's, what I'm talking about.
That's dumb. You know what I mean? Like if people didn't care about a story, and stories wouldn't exist,
But do you know? Speaking up, or they keep saying like people don't want to hear your story.
Oh yeah.
When you're doing content, like they don't want to hear that. They want to know what your solution. The solution is, they're like, we don't want to hear your story.
To an extent, it's all about the format of the story.
Right.
That's the truth behind it, right? It's the format of the story. It's like somebody who's storytelling, right? If they're telling you a story and they're rambling on and on, and they're bringing in all these things, and man, I'm gonna tell you now, I didn't even eat that day, so I was walking around all day and I was hungry too, and I stubbed my toe early that morning, and my cat ran out. I had to chase him around the building, and it's like, yo, this is terrible, right? That's not good storytelling, and I think that's what they mean. Nobody cares to hear the story in the way that you might want to tell it, right? So you should learn the way that people receive the content and receive stories, and then articulate that for the content, because it matters. Maybe not to the people that are like newly finding you, right? You may want to talk about the pain points and the results, yes, for new people, but for the people who have already been introduced to you, you need to nurture them through getting understanding on why you even do this. What is important to you of why you even do this, right? You need to show them behind the scenes. You need to be able to make relatable stuff to them. You need to be able to show them that I'm the same as you. That's why we do this. That's why I can help you, because we can relate. So I would say that, yeah, always tell your story. That's something I struggle with it a lot, right? Like I speak more toward, I think, client stories, like stuff that I've experienced. But I think that without necessarily showing it, sometimes people kind of glaze over that and they're just like, oh, you're just talking about some story, some that it maybe he even made up, or maybe something that I can't put an eye on, right? So if you can articulate that and maybe have a person there that's talking about it, you're going to be one up. That's why podcasts do so well, especially with like creating a core audience, because now you're talking about truth and it's all impromptu. It's not this fully scripted. Like I make fully scripted content all the time, right? But a lot of the content that performs the best is sometimes just me talking truth about a problem. Like I'll give a hook. I'm still going to give a hook in the beginning, but then I'm going to just talk about a story, and then we'll connect that to maybe a call to action that I want you to take. And it's not even always a sale. It's like, share this, share this piece of content with somebody else that you think could benefit from it, or you think needs to hear it. So that would be a better way to do it. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Feel free. I don't know. I'm always oh yeah, see, I'm already off time or whatever, but still, I'm still here. Yeah, I usually give like a 30-minute extra opening time to be able to help people with anything that they need. But especially on AI, like if you have any questions, think about the handful of things that you're doing daily that takes up the most amount of time for you, and ask me about it. I probably have a way to automate it or to add some AI tool that just does it for you, right? So that's what I think about. Like, what do I do on a day-to-day, and how can I automate that process? Or the one thing that I have to click over and over and over, how do I automate that process? So, and if you have any questions on any of these apps, let me know. Or if you need a picture of any of these apps, let me know. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
That's great.
Thank y'all. Thank you.